Welcome back to the Code S placement matches here for WCS. I am Wolf. With me is Caldron. We have a tie score between RorO and Parting.
Parting taking the last game on Belcher Vestige. His Archons, they certainly deserve a medal after this fight. Taking down nearly 40 Mutalisks. The series is tied with a 1-1. We're heading into Game 3.
Yep, Game 3 will be on Red City. 4-player map, relatively large.
And it's going to be very exciting. I mean, RorO in game number 1 got a bit of a default win against Parting because the Protoss player for SKT1 didn't scout properly. He was baited out with the Zealot, and then the Zerglings just ran into the main base and the natural of the Protoss. So RorO got an easy win. But then game 2, that changed things a little bit. RorO having a good hold on the game, even having a bit of a lead, but Parting in the last fight made the correct decisions. RorO mismicroing a little bit and being punished for it.
Right now they're talking about laptops, and Parting talking about his experience at WCG, seeing all the Samsung laptops.
Oh, there were a ton of them.
There were a lot. So they're making jokes about that. I don't know why it's so funny, but I guess it is to Parting. He's in a good mood, and he should be after that Archon hit.
Yeah, definitely. I mean, that Archon is probably named it Arnie the Archon or something like this.
Yeah.
Certainly was strong enough. Well, we are heading into game number 2 now. Game number 3, my bad. Red City is going to be the third map between the two of them in this best of 5. We're heading into the next match between RorO and Parting here at the GSL Code S WCS placement matches with Colin Wolf. Starting to the bottom right of Red City, we have the Zerg player, 22 years old.
삼성칸 RorO.
The Code S champion for a little bit longer, defeated Symbol with a 4-2 in the last season. This time he's up against a Protoss player at the WCS placement matches. Starting to the top left,
SK Telecom T1 Parting.
the Soul Train conductor.
Yep. Was definitely the Immortal Master until that strategy was discovered to be not immortal. It was in fact mortal and died and disappeared.
So much soul.
So much soul, but I guess Parting's gonna have to figure out a new type of soul going into, of course, Heart of the Swarm, where the Immortal push is not as strong as it used to be. We do see them from time to time.
Yeah, I don't really doubt that he's going to come up with a new strategy. I mean, he was always one of those guys who came out with this very individual trademark style for a long time, especially in his Protoss versus Terra, and he was so known for having this strong Storm play and heavy Observer play that we've seen from Rain today also in the third round of Code A.
Yeah, just so many Observers. I mean, we're talking 5, 6 at a time.
We currently see the expansion coming up for RorO, and while we have a little bit of downtime here in the game, let's just give the players a bit of a shout out if you guys want to follow them on Twitter, especially RorO, who's currently hiding a probe there that was already spotted. Then you can do that. RorO's Twitter account, he only has 400 followers, God knows why, probably because his account is a little bit more complicated. His ID on Twitter is SK1S7. I'm not quite sure what that means, but yeah, you can definitely check that out. SK1S7 is his Twitter account, so with 400 followers, he certainly deserves a little bit more attention, being called S-Champion and all of that.
Yeah, and if you want to follow Parting, who's quite famous and already well known, his Twitter is SKT1_Parting, so follow him and check out the two of us on Twitter as well. I'm Proxy Wolf, and he is at Calor with a KH. Yeah, love to hear from you.
Exactly. Follow the two of us as well, add us on Twitter. And let's see what the two players now have in mind for game number 3. We already have the double hatch here for RorO. Not before pool, going into a normal build here. Very early hatch though, the third one that is.
Yeah.
Usually with the standard timing, you get the third hatch at like 4:20. This is the fastest third hatch that you can get if you don't go for double hatch before pool.
He's doing it blindly too. He doesn't know if Parting's going for a gateway build or not. He has no information. This map is so huge that his 2 Overlord Scout he sent, neither of them have approached the right location yet. And it looked like Parting for a second considered camming because he knew that RorO didn't know, but he did not do it.
Yeah, you saw the probe that was hiding down there, and he was really contemplating if he should put down a pylon or not. But then he was scouted by the drone and decided that it's not really worth it, especially since it's a little bit easier on this map to take the third base with the positions that we have. Parting knew he's cross-positioned. So.
Yeah, and RorO just, you know, he knew the possibility was there, and even though he didn't scout just yet, he was like, well, I can't play this too greedy. I'm going to check. Probe's still around out there, so he could hide a pylon. He could do some 4 gateway pressure after this with the Stargate, for example.
Zergling, of course, not just trying to find out if there is a probe hidden somewhere. It's RorO's job to find it and Parting's job to hide it. So a bit of hide and seek that is going on. And we have Parting with a fast +1 attack upgrade.
Yeah, fast +1, and this looks more and more like we may see a gateway timing here to punish that third because he knows he has that probe hidden. It's so hard to find the probe on this map. There's so many little nooks and crannies and crevices and ramps and all sorts of places you can hide that.
It's really crazy. It's like you're playing a mini-game within Starcraft 2.
Yeah. It's like, find the probe.
Yeah. Find Waldo or where's Waldo is nothing.
Exactly. Where's Waldo's now Fog of War.
Yeah.
There's comset scans and Where's Waldo.
If you completed Where's Waldo, then you unlock Starcraft 2 Search for the Probe.
Yeah, search for the probe. It's like Where's Waldo on super hard difficulty.
Exactly. Well, for now we have the double gas here going down for RorO, and RorO just misses the probe. Barely. Doesn't see it. And here come those gateways. 2 additional ones. The Stalkers are making sure that the Overlords don't get into the main base. And with a map this big, Parting knows that there's, at this time, no second Overlord close to his base.
Oh, he gets away.
Wolf starts squeaking.
I thought the Stalker was going to jump into the ocean for a second there to get him, but he didn't.
That would have been a suicide hit. He could have just jumped over the cliff and, die for the cause, take down the Overlord, but then burn in the flames of the lava.
I think he just wanted to make me make that noise. That was his real mission, that Overlord.
Well, he succeeded.
Yeah.
He certainly did.
We have, by the way, that pylon is finishing up, and he does not make a second more close pylon, so you could actually wait for 2 warp-ins. That would be tricky. The Roach Warren is very late here for RorO.
Yeah. Well, actually, it's at the normal timing that you would expect if your opponent goes for a forged timing, which is not really the case here. So Roach Warren should be ready for this. The problem is that those 22 links against the Zealot heavy composition are not going to do too much. As mentioned earlier, once you have the +1 attack upgrade, the Zealots get so much more effective against the links.
This warp-in is very late, by the way. He had the warp-in available for a really long time. It's like he wasn't sure whether he wanted to commit or not.
Yeah, the Overlord is now heading into the main base and will give RorO the information that he needs, and RorO will be like, what, really now? 20 seconds too late? Now you tell me what's going on here? There's no speed either.
Yeah, he needs another round of Zealots to protect this, but remember they have +1. Double Stargate goes down during all of this.
But here come those 13 Roaches, and the Roaches should help him to defend. The dangerous thing is the follow-up.
You can target this hatchery down, no problem. If he focuses, he will get it with +1.
He will focus, I feel. No, he doesn't. He's trying to fight here, and this is just RorO buying time for the Roaches, and he will actually, he has a good chance of holding it.
If he wants the hatchery, he needs to target it down right now. And I don't think he's going to get it. No way.
He shouldn't. There are way too many Roaches by now. Another round of warp-ins are already moving in. This is a battle of micro at this point. But too many Roaches. Also a new set of links is streaming in. We have the Queens doing damage as well. This hatch is going to survive. Parting had a chance here, but he would have had to sacrifice a lot for it.
The double Stargate is scouted by an Overlord during all of this too.
And this is so important. Parting could have prevented it by warping in a Stalker into his main base, but he was so occupied at the bottom of the map that it did not really cross his mind. He didn't see it.
Yeah, I don't even know if he knows that his Stargates were scouted because the Overlord passed by just at the south of them.
This is horrible for Parting now. If you are going to... If you actually contribute this much resources to such an attack, then not doing any damage is it's atrocious. It's like horrible for you. We have the tech up for Parting with the double Stargate and the Robo, but just look at the difference that we have here in supply. A 40 supply lead currently for RorO. He's still on 3 bases. He has a decent economy, heading into an infestation pit already, and we have him still with a massive bank.
Yeah. Then he confirms that the Stargate is in use with that Overseer. And here comes the infestation pit. Roach speed nearly done. He wants to poke at this core here, and he will definitely be able to target at least that down.
Yeah, he's moving in with a few of the links as well, taking down 2 of the sentries, but now taking position to snipe at least the core.
Yeah, core restarted immediately in the main base.
Yeah, Parting's smart enough to do that even before the core is destroyed. He knows there's no way for him to save it, even with the force fields that he has.
Oh no, he needs a force field again. That was a bit late. He's loses another sentry.
The Immortal, that is the most important part for Parting now. That will give him a bit of safety that he desperately needs. Meanwhile, RorO finishing the infestation bit is going straight into a hive.
Yeah, he's been scouted by the Phoenixes, of course. He knows that infestors are on the way because he saw the research. I mean, he could assume that maybe it's Locust lifetime upgrade, but I doubt he would assume that at this point.
That's an 11-minute hive tech that we see here for RorO. And he's getting Lings, he's getting his Roaches up, Burrow upgrade coming in for the Infestors, Pathogen lands. Still, the Phoenixes are sticking around, trying to do some damage, trying to make sure that the economy of RorO is not getting out of hand. But the Zerg play is already getting a 4th place.
Yeah. And right now, he has not seen the 4th. He does have that pylon still live, the original Warping pylon, so if he does see the 4th, maybe he can harass it with some Zealots, maybe with +1. I'm not 100% sure what Parting's plan is going to be endgame here, because he continues to make Phoenixes, he starts some Colossi, but taking a 3rd base at this point is going to be very difficult because RorO just has the army to fight him. He can bring out those Infestors, bring the Lings up, and just attack at that 3rd.
RorO is just making sure at this point that he has enough possible routes that he can go down, taking down rocks everywhere on this map. And Parting now walking towards that 3rd base, going for the first few Colossi, but we have RorO already preparing with his Spire for Corruptors, for possible Mutalisk transitions, and finally also going into the double evolution chamber that he needs for the upgrades.
Probe that wanted to build the 4th base, or 3rd base rather, for Parting was killed, so he's not able to secure that, and RorO just threatening him over and over again.
It's a little bit of a soft contain. What RorO really wants is Parting committing into the choke point with his army, and then RorO can actually attack it from 2 angles. But with the Phoenixes around, there's no way for RorO to hide what he's up to.
Yeah. Well, you know, the supply is relatively even. Parting is switching into Void Rays with his Colossi, which is what you would expect to see. But at the same time, with all these Infestors out and the Spire coming up here, I think that RorO will not have any trouble holding any pressure that comes out, and he's just going to take likely a 5th base here fairly soon once he realizes he can't actually kill that Nexus anymore.
The big danger for RorO is that Parting might be able to build up a massive army, a 200 supply army, and then move out. And we've seen a lot of Zergs being crushed by a good position happening, and also not only the positioning but also the composition of the army itself. Once you go into Void Rays, Alicia, for example, has been using this in the Premier League at WCS in North America, or WCS America that is.
Oh,
there's
no.
the Fungal, and the first one, and he has so many Infestors, he can chain Fungal them easily.
Really nice timings here. He will get all of those except for the one that got away. That one that got away is just watching his friends die. It's really sad.
Yeah.
And he doesn't even have to do it again if he doesn't want to, but he does.
He's sticking around a little bit longer, and he was thinking about being a hero here, but then in the end, it turns out that he's really the coward he thought he would be. He flies away and will now lead a long and happy life, probably marry and get a few kids. But
yeah, but he's going to have nightmares, you know, about this for the rest of his life.
He might have to see a psychiatrist. That is definitely true. That is one haunted Phoenix.
Definitely going to have to talk to some people about this, you know, his experience. He doesn't like to talk to a lot. His grandkids always want him to tell the story, and he starts to panic.
Yeah, he wakes up in the middle of the night screaming.
It's awful what you just witnessed. Those Infestors show no mercy.
Should maybe talk to a few Void Rays, and the Void Rays would be like, well, dude, it's easy. You just turn around and kill all of them. That's what I do.
Yeah. And the Phoenix is like, well, I don't have that upgrade that you do. Yeah, I got one more range, but it's just not the same thing, Void Ray.
The Void Ray doesn't understand. It's like, what?
The Carrier's there, and the Carrier just doesn't even listen. The Carrier just flies away.
Carrier doesn't care.
Tempest, like on the other side of the room, can still hear everything.
Well, talking about Tempest and air units in general, we have the Void Ray count for Parting definitely increasing here, and he's walking towards this Void Ray Colossi composition that so many Protoss are utilizing. On the ground, we still have the sentries that can help out with the force fields. And RorO is just trying to get up his bank, getting as many bases as possible. He's already on 4 mining bases, he's getting a 5th and a 6th, and is adding more and more upgrades. Double upgrades here, going into +2/+2, and always just trying to spread his creep, position himself well on the map, and find the perfect composition against what Parting has, which is not easy.
Yeah. And you can see RorO has very fast adrenal glands, by the way, with only +1 for his Lings. That was a hallucination.
He's really relying on the Infestors here, and against Void Rays, it's a very good decision. We've seen Nest being dismantled by players like Alicia because he was trying to rely on Corruptors against Phoenixes. Against Void Rays. It just doesn't work. Void Rays, they eat Corruptors alive for breakfast. He needs something else, and Infested Terrans and Fungals it is, at least for now.
Well, you know, I wonder if that was actually too many Infested Terrans for that. I mean, he still has a lot of energy left, but he forced that cancel for sure. Here we go again. Yeah. He does not want to actually fight against those Void, but he baits out the charge, which is really nice. So the next wave, when he comes in with a few more Fungals, if he wants to engage, he can try for it.
More and more Phoenixes are now coming out, Void Rays that is, and we have +1 attack upgrade for RorO. He's going into the double spire once again, adding a lot of spine crawlers. I really like it. Now that he has so many satellite bases, he has to make sure that he can defend them as well. Good fungal here, immediately the Corruptor's moving in. We have the Void Rays going into the overcharge, and a lot more infested turrets are being spawned here. Fungal after fungal hits home.
The Colossi, though, still doing a lot of damage here, and you know what? It looks like he's finally going to push through, but he loses most of his infestors. Six City!
Everything going down for the Protoss
man,
player here.
he's able to get through, knock that Colossus down, and he's coming through, continuing to push this force down. Yeah, he loses every single Corruptor and most of his infestors, but he traded against these expensive Protoss units, and he can remax. Look at it, 12 Corruptors.
He has 102 Zerglings are being built here. The guy has such a huge bang. He has 4 bases, 5, even 6 that are mining. He can rebuild his army instantly. Zerglings are running across the map. Parting, he held off attack number 1, but at what cost?
Exactly. I mean, he's lost so much here. And the Zergling's even trying to trade against this army, and, well, if he had microed that a little bit better, he would have traded decently, but RorO just has control over the map now, and he wants to go over here and force this cancel down once more.
He goes into Broodlords, and there are no Tempests in sight.
A good force fields by Parting. He is holding on, he's holding his own, and those Void Rays will do decently against the Broodlords. The problem, of course, once again becomes the Infestors. He doesn't have as many as he used to, though. He's down to only 5.
1 additional Stargate coming up, +3/+3, started to be researched. He controls the map. He's searching for potential bases of Parting everywhere.
And the Lings here, not getting a good trade. Not at all. RorO is he loves to trade his Lings.
Yeah, he definitely does. I mean, he played so aggressive on Belcher Vestige already, and he does the same thing here. But his map control is just exceptional. The problem for him really being that their 4th base for Parting is up, and given time, Parting will deal with the losses that he suffered earlier. The thing is really that the Broodlords, there is just no real answer as long as he keep those few Void Rays that are in the game at bay.
Yeah. And, you know, he's getting more and more Void Rays out as we speak, going up to now 7, and even a 3rd Stargate has been added, so he's making 3 at a time. This attempt to break through is not a good idea, but he gets a great fungal here.
Gets a really good fungal, and once again, Corruption goes down. Immediately the focus fire on the Void Rays. 1 goes down, the second one follows suit, and this is just too much DPS for Parting to deal with. He's trying to run away, but there's so many fungals.
Way too many for him to deal with, and Parting losing his entire army again, and now going to lose his Nexus. RorO needs to target that, though. I don't know why he's targeting those cans. If he actually gets the initial hits on that Nexus, he should be able to kill it.
He's still building up that Bank Wolf. He has a 50 supply lead, and he's going to take down that 4th base no matter what.
Yeah, Parting does not have enough. He gets fungled. Again, the Corruption is good.
Parting, it is a loss-loss situation. He has to fight, but he knows that he can't really. But he's trying to. He needs to hold that 4th. He can't, and he types GG. Leaves the game. And RorO takes game 3. Parting, fighting as hard as he can, but the trades are just too good for this.
Yeah, the Infestor count there was so high, and I don't think Parting expected to face those Infestors. He didn't split. I don't think he saw them until it was too late.
Yeah, Parting is definitely a little bit disappointed there, but a great game that we've just seen. All these engagements, and especially the decision-making by RorO, that was exceptional.
Yeah. Well, the next map is going to be Whirlwind, so another one of these large maps. Red City is a big, large map, but it's not as open as Whirlwind is. Whirlwind is a map where it's a lot harder to get good positions with your Broodlords, for example, because there's not a lot of terrain on the map. It's very much open.
And keep in mind that the last map that we'll see today, Atlas, is where Parting has an 11-0 score against Zerg. So RorO is probably looking at those statistics, and he's determined to end it now.
Yeah.
He wants to win the game on Whirlwind.
Definitely. So Parting just making more jokes, you know, about, and they're talking about him playing Starcraft 2 a little bit longer than we're having more experience, but still losing.
Oh, come on.
Well, he didn't say the part about still losing. I'm just saying he's still lost. That was me. Like, he didn't actually say that.
Way to kick someone who's already down on the ground. Oh, wow. That was so mean. Doesn't matter if it was you.
I didn't mean to be mean.
That's fine. Guys, we are heading into game number 4 between Parting and RorO. Can Parting come back into the series? Can he force game number 5? We're going to find out right now at the GSL Code S, the WCS placement matches with Carl and Wolf.